Time now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now here's Jay.
Well, here is Jay, and Jay does agree with what Jay has to say. And I'm sure that some of the people at the station do too, but they got to do that. Welcome to the Educated Retirement Radio here on KMET 1490, where we contemplate retirement and how to best prepare for retirement and how to best stay successfully retired. And as you know, I am not retired, but same thing. And we absolutely must meet retirement needs. Your tank has to be full. I mean, you're not going to drive to, let's say, Las Vegas without filling the tank up, are you? Let alone places further than that. So this is what it's all about. So please call me or visit me at, well, the other one, please. My director is showing me. There we go. Give me a call or www.drheckham.com. That's Dr. Heckham, and that's, no dot after the DR, but I guess I could have it changed and do one, but DRHECM, Home Equity Conversion Mortgage, is what it is all about. So my phone number, 866-955-2233, that also works. And why should you call this phone number? Because the future is now, as we all learned in the Hudsucker Proxy, and knowledge is power. We learned that also. And we learned from Saeed that it's applied knowledge is power. So once again, 866-955-2233. And my day job is at a place called the Lone Source, Southern California. And my NMLS number is 384565. My Department of Real Estate, 792630. And that's a small number for Department of Real Estate. And as you can tell, I've been there a long time, so I never had any complaints, even though I haven't sold real estate in, 40-some years, but so be it. So what is today? Well, let me just talk to you about tomorrow at midnight. I was reading midnight, but usually isn't it 2 o'clock, 2 a.m. or whatever? Anyway, daylight savings time. Why do we need to go on daylight savings time? Well, some people really like it. I just think if you want more daylight, we just change working hours to an hour earlier. And of course, some of us who are lucky enough to be in work where we make our own hours, it doesn't really matter anyway. And don't forget St. Patty's Day. I met my wife at Houlihan's in Newport Beach, nowhere near the water, but Newport Beach. And that was quite a weekend, which comes very close to both of our birthdays. My birthday, by the way, if you want to say hello and call or whatever and give me a happy birthday. I will be 75 on Saturday. So there.
Next Saturday.
What's that?
Next Saturday.
It's a week from Saturday. Well, all right. I might as well start thinking 75. What the heck? Today is National Alfred Hitchcock Day, and he directed over 50 films. Some of the best scenes in those films: the shower scene from Psycho, the biplane scene in North by Northwest, which I really enjoy. It's not that heavy a film, even though there's, murder and this and that mayhem. And of course, the gas station attack in The Birds. And I had to remember that guy. What was that guy's name? He worked with Sam Peckinpah, and he was bird trainer on that movie. But I believe they used only 3 live birds in the whole movie. And of course, more of our favorites, not on the list above, would be Rebecca. I'll just show Rebecca, which won Best Picture, which was the only one he won. that won Best Picture, and I'm sure you're probably. I don't know if you haven't seen it, see it. It's got a great surprise ending to it. It's really well, and Hitchcock and what's his name? Anyway.
Sir Lawrence Olivier.
No. The guy that owned the studio. They were arguing every day, but I think that helped make it really, really big. Vertigo, considered his masterpiece, and I really love Strangers on a Train. I'm just going to show these, and The Lady Vanishes. Okay. One side note to Alfred is he hated eggs, and of course Guy Fieri on television, he hates eggs too. Me, I kind of like them. I like them a little more on the well done side, but I do like them. And my wife, she hates them too. Here's The Birds, and here's Lady Vanishes, which is really one of our favorites. It's like visiting old friends. So just also, he meaning Alfred said that his mentor was F.W. Oh, I still have these? Why not? North by Northwest, which I talked about. This is a not too old issue of the soundtrack, original of the soundtrack, remastered in analog, and really, really sounds good. And just Bernard Herrmann just pulled this out, and we've been playing this the last day or so, and it's all in French. I tried to go inside and look at the little booklet in it to see how long or what was on what side. Everything is in French, and if you probably are familiar with a lot of this, Fahrenheit 451 though is just beautiful. But he said that Murnau, and we know who Murnau is, and I'll just show that scene. I have a wall sculpture of that, but I didn't want to take it off the wall. I thought the house might fall down, and even though I do have the vampire, Nosferatu. I couldn't find it right away, so this is a good movie, though. John Malkovich, William Dafoe, Shadow of the Vampire talks about, well, whatever, we can talk about him another time. But Alfred said that Murnau taught Alfred how to tell a story without words. So that's a lot to say about someone. It's also National Plant a Flower Day, National Bake Scallops, although I'd rather have my scallops kind of fried in a pan, sauteed in the pan but so be it. I'll take them any way they come. And we believe in challenging the status quo. Families and people need to be active, not reactive. And we got some pretty interesting birthdays today. And it might be kind of long. We might be running over, so there. Jack Kerouac, and I learned so much just from looking into this, the research. He was born 1922, and he earned his wings in 1969. He was born in Massachusetts, to French-Canadian parents. He was active and very good in football, good enough to be offered a scholarship to Boston College, Notre Dame, and Columbia. He ended up going to Columbia, and he actually didn't learn English until he was like 6 years old. His father, Leo, was a bit of a rough guy, not treating people very well, but we'll get into that, whatever. I think he knocked over a rabbi once, and he also was really nasty to a priest. So he got it to everybody. But after his football career ended due to an injury, he continued to live in New York with his then girlfriend, and it was during this time that he met the Beat Generation figures. I just want to show you this. I got this probably over 20 years ago. This is like a thing you'd put on your computer, and it's really cool. It has a lot of the music from the 50s, um, and stories, and it's interactive about the Beat Generation. And we've talked about the Beat. Look at the picture. Look at the bottom there. We've talked about the Beat Generation before, and he met these people through a mutual friend, Lucien Carr, which we'll get into a little bit later. But such people as William S. Burroughs and Naked Lunch and the typewriter. That's where is that typewriter? It's right over there, which I bought only because of Naked Lunch. Here is a picture of Burroughs, and here is a picture of Burroughs because he was gun crazy, and actually shot and killed one of his wives doing a William Tell kind of a thing, and we talked about that a few weeks ago. But also Allen Ginsberg, and let's not forget Paul Bowles of Sheltering Sky, and Ken Kesey of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and Lawrence Ferlinghetti, who we've all talked about not too long ago. Now, of course, On the Road was the big hit for Jack Kerouac, and that's what kind of made him famous. We went to see actually a Kerouac play because he wrote some other things in the parking lot next to Al's Bar in downtown LA, which was a landmark. We also saw Meat Puppets there, but it was a while ago. It's now closed, and it was closed because the guy was just, he had enough. And it was a great place to be in LA. But Jack joined the Merchant Marines and served for only 8 days, not 8 weeks, not 8 years, 8 days in the Navy before he was honorably discharged due to a diagnosis of premature dementia. I would think that should have been Burroughs instead, no? But so be it. In 1944, he, along with Burroughs, were arrested in the murder of one David Kemmer, who had been stalking Jack's friend Lucien Carr for many years. Remember, Lucien was the one that introduced him to the Beat Generation. David provoked Carr to stab David to death in self-defense. Now, this would appear to be self-defense, except that Carr dumped the body in the Hudson River and Jack disposed of the weapon. So Burroughs convinced Carr to turn himself into the police, and Burroughs, along with Kerouac, were then arrested as material witnesses. Now we're all very familiar with the novel of Burroughs, like Naked Lunch and On the Road with Kerouac. But Kerouac actually collaborated with Burroughs on a book based on this case called And the Hippos Were Boiled in Their Tank. So it was called And the Hippos Were Boiled in Their Tank. And there it is. Probably the first time it came out. Okay. And just to show you the character of the two together back then, somebody did. I thought this was really cool, so I'm showing it to you. Really cool, right? Okay. As a side note, when Jack was arrested, his father refused to pay the bail. Remember, I told him he was kind of a weirdo, the father. Jack then promised to marry his then girlfriend if her father would pay the bail, and he paid the bail. They were annulled 4 years later, and I'm guessing he paid back the amount unless he thought 4 years were definitely worth the amount to be married to him. But he wrote his famous book On the Road with a lot of help from Benzedrine, cigarettes, bowls of pea soup, and lots of coffee. Two of those things really, I share with him a lot. Bowls of pea soup, and I love pea soup, and lots of coffee. And let me have some coffee right now, please. Thank you so much. And that's only the beginning of some of the weird. Well, no, we've already gone through so many weird things. He cut sheets of tracing paper into long strips wide enough for a typewriter, then taped them together into a 120-foot roll to allow him to type without changing paper. Also, isn't that weird? I find it kind of hard to figure out how it would stay, without moving back and forth. Anyway, also, for an on-the-road kind of guy, he did not learn to drive until he was in his 30s and never had a driver's license. Lawrence Welk, and we don't have anything with bubbles. There's no use doing that unless it's going to...
Yeah, it's just a bubble.
All right, I'll do bubbles.
But it doesn't, I don't have it loaded.
Okay, that's okay. This is a train car from my G-scale outdoor train set. And it actually must have fixed whatever. But it bubbles come out of the top when you load it. And of course it picks up electricity and heats up and does whatever it's supposed to do and blows out. Looks like there's 3 cannons on the top. So, wish I could show it to you. But that has to do with Lawrence Welk, 1903 to 1992. And he was born in Strasburg, North Dakota, and one of 8 children to German immigrant parents. The family lived on a homestead, now a tourist attraction, and they spent their first cold North Dakota winter inside an upturned wagon covered in sod. He left school in the 4th grade to work full-time on the family farm, and he decided on a career in music later and got his father to buy him a mail-order accordion for $400. A much different kind of father than Kerouac, I would say, had. He left the farm at age 21 to pursue his career by performing in big bands and popular radio. In the 1930s, he led a traveling band that traveled by car, and since they were too poor to rent rooms, slept and changed clothes in the car. At an engagement in Pittsburgh, a dancer in the audience said that the band sounded as light and bubbly as champagne. The hotel that they were performing at had a bubble machine that was a prop for a 1920s movie premiere, and the rest is bubble history. So let me show you a couple. I don't have too many Lawrence Welk records, as you might imagine, as someone who loves jazz, classical, and especially trip hop and things like that and DJ stuff from the 1990s. But this with Johnny Hodges, this is a really good record. It sounds a lot more like Johnny Hodges with a big band and an accordion rather than a Lawrence Welk album. So, it has Someone to Watch Over Me, Misty, On and On, Blue Velvet, Sophisticated Ladies, Canadian Sunset, Sentimental Mood. Anyway, that's enough of that. In 1951, Welk settled in Los Angeles and began producing The Lawrence Welk Show and broadcasting. It was broadcast from the Aragon Ballroom in Venice Beach. It became a big hit and ran until 1985. And I think what we're going to do is, because we may run out of time, and I know NASA Nellie is on a tight schedule coming back from the space station. Let me listen for her jet. There we go. So she's coming close, and let's let her give a start, and then we'll, if we have time, which I think we will, we'll go back to some more of the birthdays that we were talking about, and go from there. But take it away, NASA Nellie.
Okay. In 1997, we were watching movies like The Fifth Element, Men in Black, and Contact. But in March of that year, the people of Phoenix, Arizona were watching something quite different and possibly unworldly. Over the skies of Arizona, Nevada, and even Mexico, there were a series of sightings that led to one of the most well-known UFO events ever. In the evening between 7:30 and 10:30 on March 13th, thousands of people reported seeing strange bright lights in the night sky. There were many of these sightings in the same area for over a 12-hour period. First was a boomerang-shaped object at least a mile wide and totally silent, and so big it blocked out the stars. Another sighting, a series of stationary orange and red lightings hanging over the valley. Some saw physical crafts, some claimed the lights themselves were the crafts. Interdimensional beings or secret military spacecraft. Or the military claims that they were just flares. Many professional pilots abandoned the flare explanation. They know what flares look like, and these were not flares. Dr. Lynn Kitai saw the lights firsthand and shot plenty of photographs of them, and said it turned her from a skeptic to a believer. She said it was a mile-wide formation of orbs turning into a V shape. She said flares cannot keep a formation and hover rock solid and in silence for hours. Then Governor Fife Symington, a skeptic, staged a spoof on the reaction of the event by holding a press conference with an aide dressed up as an alien for a joke. Not funny to those witnesses. After he had his own UFO sighting of the same lights, he
actually came out later saying that he saw those lights that night.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. He said that he saw those UFO sightings, like you said, and he announced an apology, and he now believed they were of extraterrestrial origin. And of course, there's the great story of actor Kurt Russell, revealing he was the pilot who first reported the Phoenix lights. He was flying his son to go see his girlfriend and saw 6 lights over the airport in an absolute uniform V shape. Kurt felt it was odd enough and important enough to call the report into the authorities. It wasn't until later he realized that he was the first pilot on the scene. The Phoenix lights have been a part of numerous documentaries over the years, investigated by many researchers, including MUFON, and as the inspiration to the film Phoenix Forgotten.
Okay, well, first of all, here is a picture of who? I get the two mixed up so much. Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
Anyway, this is obviously not, real. This is from Escape from New York or whatever, but I thought it was a great picture. It's also a good way to use up a lot of your black ink all at one time. But that is a cool picture. You got to admit that. So, and here, speaking of forgetting, here it is, that Phoenix Forgotten, which I should have watched on Amazon first. It's not that good, but so be it. Anyway, if somebody does need to make a good movie about the Phoenix Lights, but so be it. I forgot to show you this earlier. This lady played in the Lawrence Welk Band. And what's that?
It was on his
So
show
it was on his show quite a bit, and of course, boy, she sure has that look, doesn't she? But I really like some of the pictures on the back. It kind of reminds me of some of those pictures that were on the Jackie Gleason items. But in any case, it's time now for a break, and after the break, we're going to bring on TJ from 1Heart and talk about health. So please, please stay with us, okay? Thank you so much, and we will be talking to you very soon. And good afternoon, and welcome back. And I haven't spoken to Ron in probably, 2.5 hours or so. Anyway, welcome back to the Educated Retirement. And you know what we talk about here on the Educated Retirement. But I thought I would just make sure that you remind you that the real enemy of retirement is compounding inflation. Protect yourself from it with a Heckam line of credit that grows to match it and maybe even beat it. So you absolutely must meet your retirement needs and top off your tank. And remember that people who stay home and live at home longer live longer and live happier. And that's not just me saying it. That's Congress did a few years ago did a study on that, and therefore we need to keep people in their home, and that's what we want to talk about here with our guest TJ from 1Heart in-home care, which is so important. So TJ, first of all, go ahead and just introduce yourself. I know you, but some of the other people may not.
First off, Jay, thank you for having me. My name's TJ. I'm from 1Heart Caregivers. Nice mug.
Oh yeah.
1Heart Caregiver Services, based in Thousand Oaks, California. We are a non-medical in-home caregiving agency.
And yeah, it has to be non-medical because that's a whole different licensing situation and a whole different place for people to be. But I would say, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into this, how you feel about being into this, and what changes it made to your life.
Well, to be very frank and honest, I started joining the 1Heart family maybe about 4 years ago, 2017, if I remember correctly. I don't have any background or experience about the industry. I learned how it is in the community, and this kind of service, I was hooked. And of course, there's the business part of it. It's I don't want to say I say it's comfortable if you learned how to be
and when
persistent.
You say hooked, you're hooked on helping people, right? Now you're helping yourself also with a successful business, but so be it. I mean, that is really the key to success, is to be able to do all these things that improve other people and at the same time improving yourself. And in-home care isn't the only way, but it's certainly a really powerful way, isn't it?
Correct. I mean, I always tell, everybody ask me, and if living a bit along the way, why not? But most important thing is, like, I always tell everybody, and I always tell especially my wife, that I'm in a lucky situation that I'm blessed. It's something that I practice.
See, you even feel lucky to be helping others. I wish more people were like that. You know what I mean? But I'm so glad that you are, and so many others are, especially at 1Heart and in these kind of services. So, one thing is that 8 million people, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, turn 75 now. They used to say turn 65 every day. We are getting, I turned 75 a week from Saturday even. So you can wish me happy birthday now, or you can call back.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna. I'm just gonna say advance happy birthday.
Well, thank you, sir. And uh, I don't know what 75 is supposed to feel like. I know when I was a kid, I always thought 75 would feel dead, but that's not the case anymore at all. We are all living longer and longer, and I, of course, had some, like about 9 hours of surgery about a month and a half ago, and boy, that knocked me out. And you know what? I'm feeling pretty good right now. I did find they found cancer. That's all gone now, and other things. So, I used to have one primary doctor. Now I've got five, it seems like, and they all seem to really want to take care of me. I guess that's because Medicare does pay. And I'm pretty lucky, I think, because of that. So I don't quite need home care yet. But when the time comes, we live in a single-story home, which is what we planned for, to be able to live with. And in-home care will be absolutely necessary at some time because I intend to live long enough to need that help. And 1Heart's one of the best companies for that. And let me just ask you, uh, how do you, if somebody were to ask you what exactly a caregiver service does, how would you answer that?
Well, we assist senior or whoever is needed our help in their daily living. We understand that it comes with aging, that there are some things that you cannot control or you cannot do anymore. We step in. We make sure that two things that we need to be sure of. One is our clients or are the one that we're taking care of are
Mhm.
safe, and secondly, they are comfortable. They're very well kept. Their home is very well kept to make sure that they're safe as well. I mean, that is where we're here for. We tend to assist them to make sure that to give them the quality of life that they deserve. Moving forward, that's what we do.
Yeah. I certainly needed someone from your company on Tuesday. I got my first COVID shot on Monday. Now, you guys are probably vaccinated, correct?
Oh, yeah, we promote it, to our staff. We make
Yeah,
sure that we give
because
them the right information.
yeah, because when you meet
When will
people,
they get it?
yeah,
When?
you want to be vaccinated when you visit somebody so that the people that you do work with know that you are safe, right?
Yes, exactly.
And anyway, I got it on Monday and I heard my arm was going to hurt on Tuesday. It didn't. But I was so fatigued. I mean, I didn't even know who I was. Couldn't walk, could hardly talk, but I got over it by the evening. And I think a lot of that had to do with, my underlying condition of trying to recover from this, from the, 9 hours of surgery. So, but I can't wait to get the second shot, have my day of weirdness,
When
and
when's your schedule the second shot?
I think it's April 14th, 13th or 14th.
Okay.
So 2 weeks after that, I'm safe. I can get out there. And I'm going to tell everybody listening, get
Well,
vaccinated because why? I don't care what you think about it. I want you to do it so that I can go back to the movies and that I can go out and have lunch and dinner wherever I want and I can go back to Disneyland and things like that. So go get your vaccine, right? Yeah, and take the train into
yeah.
places that San Diego and LA on weekends like I always used to do. So that's why you need to get your vaccine. In other words, if you care about other humans on this planet, you need to get vaccine. So how
It's
do you think,
accessible enough, so why not, right?
yeah, so what do you think would be, how is 1Heart, you think you feel different than other companies?
Oh, yeah, when I'm not gonna lie, when I started, and I'm looking into this business in,
You probably
you
looked
know,
at several companies, right?
uh, absolutely, trying to venture into my own business. I mean, to finding a business of my own. I look into other home care agencies to franchise, and what I've learned, and I'm still learning, that there are three things that how we differ to others. First, and I just and this is at least for me, this is very important. I learned while I set up shop in Thousand Oaks, California. We serve neighboring cities:
Well,
Calabasas,
sure, you guys
Simi
can serve
Valley, Agora
just about
Hills.
everybody, and we're broadcasting from the Inland Empire, and that's definitely within your range, also.
Absolutely. So what I've learned when I first started, that One Heart requires, or like us, to be local,
Yeah,
to set up your office in the area that you are going to serve, and that is a big help. um, 4 years in this business, I am now known as a part of the community, part of the as
yeah,
their local wellness provider.
and
So that is
you
very
don't mean
important.
just part of the community of One Heart. You mean part of the community of the city and the whole area you're in.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's it gave their life. It's some companies, not naming them, but they have ghost. And I always tell my potential clients that just a
Yeah,
few minutes away.
yeah. Now, we're getting halfway done, believe it or not. So let's just break a minute and have you give all the contact information for One Heart and for yourself, and for if people are interested at all in One Heart, whether that be for business or whether that be for healthcare, or for you to make an quote assessment, as you were saying earlier,
Yes.
we're off the air, to go talk to a family. How would they go ahead and do that, regardless, for your local number and for just One Heart in general?
Yes, we are located in Thousand Oaks, California, but we service neighboring cities, until Oxnard, Santa Paula, Fillmore. My phone number is 805-413-1027. I'll
And
repeat
that
that.
would
It's
go
805
for,
413 1027. We are open 24 hours. I always answer my calls. So call me anytime, 24/7. Always
you know
here
what,
to
I
serve.
better set my alarm for, daylight savings is coming tomorrow at, I think, 2 a.m. Sunday morning. I'll
Mm.
set my alarm and I'll call you then and make sure you remember. And you mentioned some cities, but you're also very available for Orange
Absolutely.
County
I
and Inland
always,
Empire.
yeah, we're all over until everywhere.
Yeah, I used to be big, so big that I was everywhere just when I walked, but I lost lots of weight. I think the last time you saw me, I look a lot different than I do on this guy on screen right now, right? A lot different, over 100 pounds. So,
But
so that,
when you were telling me your what you've been through this past couple of months, weeks, I'm glad that you're healthy enough right now, and I'm glad to be talking to you.
thank you very, very much. I'm beginning to feel like normal. I got sick the first time, it was in May of 2020, in and out of hospitals and feeling pretty weird. But, I'm feeling pretty good right now. I'm feeling almost back to normal. It's a feeling you don't really miss until you miss it. And, like I
See,
said,
a few
75 is normal to
more
me.
pounds and you can shave now,
Yeah, I grew that in the hospital the first time I was in, because
huh?
it was tough to. but my face got so skinny, I left it out there. So the COVID-19 though is, I'm sure you're coping with pretty well, and I'm sure you have, like you said, your people are vaccinated. I'm sure you have people that are. When you have someone in a home, it's usually the same person, right? So that the older person or the client feels safe with the same people, correct?
Yeah, we try to. We try our best. We know how serious this is, so we try to make sure that if we we lessen the faces that they see. Of course, there's some factors that can rattle that situation, but we try our
Sure.
best to make sure to send the same person every time that they have a service.
Now, one thing that goes unsaid a lot of the times on these discussions with in-home care people and companies is the fact that a lot of people, don't have in-home care. They have, what I said, professional. They have relatives. They have maybe a wife taking care of a husband, like mine has been. But you have daughters or sons taking care of parents. But they should probably take you in for a day or two anyway to help. But even other than that, those people really need relief too. Even to call you for a day or so, once a month or once something, so they can feel like they're normal, correct? Yeah, I think we should, really
Correct.
push
I
that.
mean, home care aide or caregivers is a profession.
Uh-huh.
These all of my caregivers and all of my employee are professional caregivers. They are licensed. They have sufficient training and
Right.
care of
Yeah. So
very
I
important.
think, yeah, so I think we've already kind of covered how big the need is for what you do because people are getting older all the time, much older, and you're just a kid. But you
You
know what?
can't stop aging. You can't stop aging.
But you'll get old too, and we all need help. Now I don't know about time machines. I would love to. Oh, you know what, Kathleen, bring me the time machine. Uh, but yes, as it goes right now, we cannot stop aging. And that is part of the driving force of your business, but the driving growth of your brand is probably how well your reputation is, wouldn't you say?
Correct. I
And
mean, that's the reason why it's very important that you invested in the community that you're serving. You want to make sure that they know you and you know them. So, in case that you need or they need your service, they already know what kind of they're gonna expect what kind of service that you provide.
sure, and word of mouth is probably one. Oh, just hand it to me, would you please? Thank you. As you may be too young to remember the original Time Machine movie, but it is a real George Pal classic, and this is a great gift that I was given, and it's just, I mean, it's beautiful, hand
That
painted
is
and everything.
cool.
Yeah, that's cool, all right. And you know what I forgot to tell? No, we didn't get into that yet. Okay, we'll get into that a little bit later. But I know that Randy is going to watch this when I send it, and we better get on to what he does because I know he wants that part. And the reason I think this is important too is because one big thing we keep talking about on this show is how, well, of course, number one is being at home, your own home. And I said I live in a single story, which is just perfect. Even though I wish I had one of those stair lifts, I don't have a second story, but still, I wish I had that. Maybe break through to the roof and, or smoke a cigar or look at the stars at night or that kind of thing. But I can't do anything about that. But I know that the other thing we need to, and we reflect on a lot on this show, is that not only living at home, but living and working and doing work. I don't mean you have to go punch a time clock. I don't mean you don't do it. And yes, a hobby can be part of that answer. But a lot of times people will use what I do, reverse mortgage, take out some funds, even though they're not going to lose equity, usually, and open a business, or something where they may already have the money to do so. But I really think that retirees need to be working and doing something. So tell us a little bit about how a retired person can get back into action by enjoying a 1Heart franchise and helping other people like you are. Of course, they have to have that feeling like you do of really liking to help people.
Yeah, I mean, commitment is very important. Persistence. The good thing about having your own business, if they are a retiree, working in in the corporate world for X amount of years, it's like this is something that, like you mentioned earlier, you can work from home or control your time. But don't get me wrong, you need a lot of discipline. You need a lot of persistence to do it.
Yeah, and that's also called employees too, if you want to. But yeah, you can get yourself help, but you get a lot of help from 1Heart, don't you? If you look into their franchising programs, they really teach you everything you need. They never leave you alone, do they?
The good thing about their system is very simple. Their system is very simple. You just have to follow it religiously. It's a lot of repetition. Then that's it. It's honestly, Jay, it's not even hard. It's just because it's very simple. You just have to follow it by the book every day, and I guarantee you'll be successful.
Well, you know what? I think the guarantee is important because there are so many old people out there. They need help, and they're learning more and more not to hire somebody from, say, Craigslist or something like that. You need to be trained, and people at 1Heart are very well trained, correct?
We have our own 1Heart University, 1Heart Care University. We
Oh yeah,
train our
tell
ourselves.
us a little about that. And do they also cover, uh, the bookkeeping and all that kind of thing?
You got cut off, Jay. I didn't hear.
Oh,
Say that again.
I'm sorry. Yeah, tell us a little bit about 1Heart University and what they teach you. And we only got a couple minutes here, and if they also, oh, well, 1 minute. Okay, you know what? We're going to have you back to tell us more, but I will just, in a nutshell, the university is going to teach you how to handle your business, how to handle employees if you have any, and how to handle your clients. So before Sean pulls out the hook and pulls us off, give us one more time how people can get a hold of 1Heart for any reason at all, including the business.
Absolutely. Again, 1Heart Caregiver Services. Phone number is 805 413 1027. Please give us a call. My email, Tom Jason Jack 1cares with an S.com. TJ at 1heartcares.com. Anything that questions you might have. Thank you, Jay.
Hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And you and everybody else over there at 1Heart. And I told you this would go faster than it should. And I'm looking forward to you coming back with your wife next time, like she's supposed to this time. And we'll talk more. And take care of yourself, and everybody else take care of yourself, and stick with us. We'll be taking a break, and we'll be back with another guest and some more talk. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Educated Retirement Show with Jay Kaplan. Tune in every Friday at 3 p.m. to learn more about your mortgage and reverse mortgages. And don't forget, each show is also podcasted on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. Thanks for listening.